speaking of Adriana too, I read that her death originally had like two different endings, and also too like what I always admired about the show, and a lot of people have mixed feelings about it, but that Adriana's death was off screen. And I'm curious when you spoke to like David Chase and like the writers and everybody that like I'm curious why they chose to do it like that. But also about I'm curious to know also about like the different ending too that was supposed to happen, I guess.
Well, David always says he didn't want to see it. David loved Adriana. Like I said, I was just meant to play a day player. From the pilot to the end. I was never a series regular in the beginning. When I auditioned for the pilot, I didn't get any of the parts. I auditioned for like five different parts. But he kept reading me because I was Italian and I was young, and I don't know, you might have seen the one of the audition tapes. I read to play his date at a club. Like I wasn't even going to have any lines. He didn't think I looked Italian enough. He had me read for the Russian girl. He had me read
Oh wow.
for the hostess in the restaurant. And he said, "Do you mind just play?" My agent called me. Could you mind just playing the hostess in the restaurant? Because there's nothing Italian about you, but you have like this Connecticut snobby air about you. Because I went in with my hair pulled back in a ponytail, no makeup on. Because when you're Italian, especially, they tell you to de-Italian yourself. You had it
Wow.
back in those days. Take it down. Don't show anyone what your heritage is. Crazy, right? So that's what it was like back then. And I thought the show was about singers, The Sopranos. So I didn't have a script and I didn't know what it was about. And I thought it was just about like opera singers or something.
Interesting,
So
yeah.
I went, yeah, so I went in as a clean slate. And then I was like, damn, I could have really and I probably had already had like 50,000 lessons to lose my Queen's accent, because back in those days, I could find old tapes of me and I'm like, I am going to Fannie Lou Boulevard and I seen you was hanging out over there, girl. You got to clean that shit up when you want to go into Hollywood. I had a manager who said to me, if you don't get voice lessons, I'm dropping you. And she dropped me. And
Oh
she
man.
said,
God.
you need, I go, you mean my accent? Like my New York accent? And she goes, no, it's not even the accent. It's your voice. Your voice is annoying. She's like, she goes, get this. She goes, you need opera lessons. I said, fucking opera lessons? What are you talking about? And she
Wow.
dropped me. And then 2 weeks later, I got a show called The Sopranos.
There
Oh
you
It's
hell
go.
yeah.
Mic
pretty
drop.
funny. That's like some Italian humor right there.
I
It's like,
love
That's
oh
that.
yeah, oh
that's
yeah, I'll
incredible.
show you.
Yeah, I
You,
love that. That'd feel good.
you know what's awesome too? I was gonna call you Adriana for a second. My bad.
You
Oh
can
my
go
God.
ahead. It's okay.
Oh
I'm
my
used to
God.
it, bro.
No, you know
I'm
what?
used.
It's the Drea and Adriana. That's what it is. It kind of
I'm
blends.
telling you, I was made to play the part.
It's
When I
it's
went
me.
in the second time, they called me in Queens. I was at my grandma's house. She was making chicken cutlet parm. And my mom goes, Dre, you're getting a call. I answer the phone. They go, it's the people from the Sopranos again. And at that point, I had known what the show was about because I played the hostess in the restaurant, and I screwed it up royally because I was so nervous to be around Karen from Goodfellas. I was dying when I didn't even know who James Gandolfini was. None of us knew who he was yet, so I was nervous to be around Lorraine, and I have to tell her that I don't have a table for her and I'm nasty to her, and I couldn't say my line at all. I mean, I
Yeah.
was like, how could they even bring me back? I couldn't even say my line. I was such a idiot. But they brought me back, and I was with my mom in Queens with my grandma and everybody on the regular phone with the curly cord. And I'm like, I'm in Queens. I can't come and audition for you guys. They called the casting people, called. So we need you to come in and read right away. And I was like, I can't do that. I'm in Queens. And they were like, well, we're in Queens. And I was like,
Oh,
what? My
That's
mother goes,
awesome.
she goes, that hang up, tell them to we'll go get a fax of the script or whatever the hell it was back in those days. She goes, I'm going to take your nameplate out of the vault because I made my confirmation just to get my nameplate in diamonds because that was a thing in my neighborhood. You had to get your name in diamonds on a gold rope chain.
hmm.
So she took it out. It says Andrea. And I'm telling you, I was born to play
Yeah.
Adriana. So the two death scenes, yes, it was shot two ways. I went to David and said, hey, am I living or dying? Because I want to direct this movie. At that time, I thought I was going to direct this movie. And he was like, well, and he sat me down on the curb. I had the neck brace on. We had just, we were about to shoot the scene of me in the hospital. Is there a scene of me in the hospital after the accident?
Yes, yeah, it's after you and Tony had the car accident. You're in the hospital, and I think to Tony comes to see you. He visits you, and then like he feels all bad because he didn't have barely a scratch on him. And then that whole rumor started. You're sucking his cock. I saw it. I was sucking somebody's cock. How could you say that?
Oh
What are you
my God.
doing in Dover? See, you can't answer because I know what you're doing. You were buying blow from what's his name now? See, now I'm going on a
Zova.
tangent. Yeah, you're a
Zova,
dope
right?
dealer there. I know.
What were we just fucking, what was the meme? What do you think they were
Andre
just
or something? You sing Andre?
watching duck hunting in Dover, and there's like these memes of Adriana and Tony Soprano wearing like safari gear,
Oh my God.
binoculars.
Yeah.
Um, well, okay, so I think in that scene in the hospital, I have a neck brace on, and strangely enough, we shot that scene in a house. So they dressed up this house. There was a room in the house. We must have been shooting something in the house that was had nothing to do with us, but they brought me in for that scene just to get that done. And they dressed up a room in the house like a hospital room. So we weren't even in a hospital. And David Chase sat me on the curb and said to me, well, and normally he has a meeting with whomever he's killing off on the show in his office. That's always how it worked. Just always men. It was never women. And he said, we're going to shoot it two ways. So no one's going to know how it ends. And A, that's because of the confidentiality on set, and there's a rat. And B, we just don't know what we want to do. So they shot it where she gets away and her suitcase is in the car and you see her looking at all the traffic, the highway signs. And then they shot it where Stevie kills her. And they ended up using both scenes in that episode. Like you see her imagining getting away. I don't know even why they used that, but they did. They do a flash of her imagining getting away. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
You
she's in the
guys,
car with her luggage.
Yeah,
She's
because
driving, and then
yeah,
yeah.
she knew it. She knew it. Like
she
right
knew.
away it was coming. Yeah.
Also, there's trivia, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard me talk about this, but and I'm probably never supposed to talk about it, but I always do because who gives a shit? It's so many years ago. But there was a scene in that episode right before, like after he strangles me, and then Tony calls Adriana and says there's been an accident. You need to come. There was a scene of Tony and Christopher going to Tony's house and going into the basement laundry room and him crying and telling Tony that I was a rat and Tony saying, I'll take care of it. And then he calls her. So that scene was originally in that episode.
Yeah, and then they
I
moved
was
it. Yeah,
mortified. I was mortified about that scene. I said, why? This is the biggest death. Like, this doesn't do her any, this just is like a dead, this is going to be dead. This is dead space. Like this, there's no build up. It's just going to be a dead space before she dies. Everyone's going to know what's about to happen. I was like, I feel like we could get more mileage out of this. And I remember talking about Stevie and Michael, and we were all just like, yeah, this feels weird.
Wow.
And then I went to Terry and David, and I was like, I just think that, like, I just wish the scene wasn't in there. And they ended up taking that scene out. I don't
Wow.
know, probably not. They probably watched it and was like, you know what, maybe we need that build up because that was a great build up. And they ended up putting that scene in season 6, I think. It's a great scene.
great
Yeah.
scene.
But that would have given it away and changed the way that scene played out for sure.